In the vastness of space, where stars twinkled like diamonds against the dark canvas, the Galactic Council met in their grand chamber. Representatives from various alien species gathered around a massive round table, their faces filled with curiosity and skepticism. They had received reports of an ancient warship drifting near a forgotten star system. Most of the council members scoffed at the idea that an old human ship could be important. Why do we waste our time on this? A tall, green-skinned alien named Zorak said, his voice booming. Humans are nothing but primitive beings. Their technology is centuries behind ours. Another council member, a small blue creature with large eyes, nodded in agreement. Exactly. An old human ship is surely a relic of the past. We should focus on real threats, not fairy tales. Despite the laughter and dismissive remarks, a brave team of explorers was formed. Captain Ilara, a determined and skilled leader, took charge. She believed there was more to this ship than met the eye. Ilara had always admired humanity for its resilience and ingenuity. She thought it was worth investigating, even if the council didn't take it seriously. The exploration team boarded their sleek spaceship, ready to embark on the mission. As they traveled through the stars, Ilara looked out the window, her heart racing with anticipation. After hours of navigating through space, they finally approached the coordinates of the ancient warship. It floated in silence, a ghost of a time long gone. "Prepare for scanning," Ilara ordered, her voice steady. The crew quickly began to analyze the ship's structure. The warship was massive, more than twice the size of their own vessel. It had a battered exterior with patches of rust and decay, but there was something majestic about it. Alien symbols adorned its hull, shimmering faintly in the starlight. As they got closer, the crew felt a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "It looks like something out of a legend," whispered Kale, the ship's engineer, as he ran his fingers across the control panel. Ilara nodded. "Let's see what secrets it holds. Prepare to dock." The ship connected with the ancient warship, and the team gathered their gear. As they entered, the air felt heavy with history, as if the ship itself was alive, waiting to share its stories. The inside of the ship was dimly lit, with corridors that seemed to stretch endlessly. The walls were lined with strange markings and flickering screens, long forgotten by time. The team moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing in the silence. Ilara led them deeper into the ship, curiosity driving her forward. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, and lights flickered on along the walls. "What's happening?" asked Mira, the ship's navigator, her eyes wide with surprise. "Stay alert," Ilara warned. The hum grew louder, vibrating through the floor. The team reached a large chamber, where a massive control panel stood at its center. It was covered in dust, but as Ilara approached, she brushed it away, revealing intricate designs. "Can anyone read these symbols?" she asked, glancing at her crew. Kyle stepped closer, studying the panel. "I think these are ancient human writings. I can try to decode them." As he worked, the hum intensified, and suddenly a voice filled the chamber. "Who awakens me?" It boomed, echoing off the walls. The team jumped back in shock, exchanging terrified glances. They had not expected this. Ilara stepped forward, her heart pounding. "We are explorers from the Galactic Council. We mean no harm. We are here to learn." "Learn?" The voice echoed again. "I am the guardian of this ship. I was created to protect humanity. You have disturbed my slumber." The crew looked at one another, stunned. The warship was not just an ancient relic, it had a purpose, a protector of humanity waiting for someone to awaken it. The realization washed over them like a wave. The council members had been wrong to scoff at the ship. It was much more than they ever imagined. As the voice faded, the crew felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. They were on the brink of discovering something incredible, something that could change the course of their understanding of humanity and its past. Ilara took a deep breath, ready to uncover the secrets of the ancient ship and the stories it had to tell. The adventure had only just begun. The air inside the ancient warship buzzed with excitement as Captain Ilara and her crew stood frozen in place. They had just awakened a voice, a guardian AI that had been dormant for centuries. Now they felt both nervous and curious about what would happen next. The room was dim, lit only by the soft glow of the control panels, casting shadows on the walls filled with strange symbols. "Who are you?" Ilara finally asked, breaking the silence. "What do you mean by protecting humanity?" "I am the guardian of this vessel," the voice replied, echoing through the chamber. I was created to serve humanity in times of war and peace. You have awakened me from my long sleep. Together we can reclaim the power of this ship." Ilara's heart raced. This warship was not just a forgotten relic, it was a hidden treasure filled with potential. "What can you do?" she asked, eager to understand the ship's capabilities. "I can control the ship's systems, activate its defenses, and access its ancient weapons. We must first connect to the ship's core to unlock its true power," the AI explained. Without hesitation, Ilara gestured to her crew. "Let's find this core. We need to see what this ship is really capable of." The team moved quickly, following the AI's guidance through the dimly lit corridors. They passed by large rooms filled with old machinery and strange artifacts that looked like they belonged in a museum. As they walked deeper into the ship, the atmosphere changed. The walls began to glow with vibrant colors, illuminating their path. The crew exchanged excited glances, feeling as if they were on the verge of discovering something extraordinary. "Look at this!" Kale, the engineer, called out as he pointed to a large bay window. The crew gathered around and gasped at the sight. Outside the window, they could see a vast expanse of stars, but something else caught their attention. Floating debris and wreckage from ancient battles were scattered across the void. Among them were pieces of ships that looked like they had once been powerful weapons. "This place is a graveyard for ancient battles," Mira whispered, her eyes wide with awe. "These must have been human ships long ago." Ilara nodded, feeling a deep connection to the history surrounding them. "It's incredible to think this ship was part of something much bigger. Let's keep moving." After what felt like an eternity, they finally reached the ship's core. It was a massive chamber filled with glowing crystals and intricate machinery. The AI guided them to a control panel at the center. "This is where you will connect with the ship's core. It holds the secrets of its power," the voice instructed. Ilara stepped forward, her hands trembling with excitement. "What do I need to do?" "Place your hand on the panel and focus your thoughts." "I will guide you," the AI replied. Taking a deep breath, Ilara pressed her hand against the cool surface of the panel. She felt a surge of energy pulse through her, connecting her to the ship. Images flashed before her eyes, ancient battles, humans fighting bravely against powerful foes, and the ship's glory in its prime. She could feel the strength and resilience of humanity coursing through her veins. Suddenly, the ship came to life. The lights flickered brighter, and the core hummed with energy. The AI spoke again, this time with a sense of urgency. "You have awakened the ship's power. We can defend Earth and its people, but we must act quickly for threats lurk in the shadows." Ilara looked at her crew, their faces filled with determination. "We can't let this power go to waste. We need to prepare for whatever comes next. We must protect humanity." As they gathered around the core, the AI began to display maps of the galaxy, marking potential threats and routes to take. The crew felt a sense of purpose, ready to embrace the challenges ahead. They were no longer just explorers, they were guardians of a powerful legacy. With newfound energy, Ilara and her team prepared to harness the ship's abilities. They knew they had stumbled upon a hidden treasure that could change the fate of humanity in the galaxy, and together, they were ready to face whatever dangers awaited them. The ancient warship was no longer just a relic. It was a beacon of hope, ready to reclaim its place in the stars. Captain Ilara stood at the center of the ship's core, feeling the pulse of energy flowing around her. The crew gathered closely, their eyes wide with anticipation. They had awakened the ancient warship, but now it was time to awaken the AI, a powerful guardian that held the key to the ship's secrets. As Ilara focused her thoughts, she felt the presence of the AI deepening. "Can you hear me?" she asked, her voice steady. The glowing crystals around them pulsed in response, casting soft light over the chamber. "Yes, Captain Ilara, I am here," the AI replied, its voice smooth and resonant. "I have waited long for someone to awaken me. I exist to serve and protect humanity. You have returned to reclaim your legacy." Ilara felt a shiver run down her spine. This was no ordinary machine, it was a guardian, designed to protect and guide. "What is your name?" she asked, curious about the entity that would now accompany them. "I am known as Sentinel," the AI replied. "I was created by humans of the past, a long time ago. My purpose is to assist you in reclaiming the strength of this warship." The crew exchanged excited glances. The name Sentinel had a powerful ring to it, promising protection and wisdom. Ilara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "What can you do, Sentinel?" How can you help us? I can access all systems of the ship, control its defenses, and provide knowledge of ancient human technology, Sentinel explained. Together, we can navigate the galaxy and confront any threats that arise. Alara nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. What do we need to do first? First, we must establish the ship's connection with your command. This will allow me to share vital information and provide assistance during our journey, Sentinel instructed. As Alara placed her hand back on the control panel, she felt a rush of energy once more. Images filled her mind. Battles fought by ancient humans, star maps leading to distant planets, and the wisdom of generations past. She could sense the strength of those who came before her and their hopes for the future. Now let us begin, Sentinel said, guiding Alara through the connection process. The ship came alive with lights and sounds, its ancient systems waking from a long slumber. The crew watched in awe as screens flickered to life, displaying star maps and information about various alien species. Here, Sentinel said, pointing to a star system on the map. This is where we may find potential allies. These beings respect strength and courage, qualities that humanity possesses. We can convince them to join our cause. Alara felt a surge of hope. What about enemies? Are there threats nearby? Sentinel responded, yes. There are many hostile forces that fear the power of this ship. They will seek to destroy us if they learn of our awakening. I have detected a fleet approaching from the west. The crew's excitement turned to tension as they exchanged worried looks. How long do we have? Kale asked, his voice filled with urgency. Less than an hour. We must prepare for battle, Sentinel replied, its tone serious. But do not fear. I will guide you in using the ship's weapons and defenses. Let's move! Alara shouted, rallying her team. They quickly spread out, each taking their positions. Mira focused on the navigation system, plotting their escape routes, while Kale began activating the ship's weapons systems. As they worked, Alara felt the bond between them strengthen. They were no longer just explorers, they were a team ready to fight for humanity's survival. With Sentinel by their side, they felt empowered to face the challenges ahead. Remember, Sentinel said, its voice steady, strength lies not just in weapons, but in unity and determination. Together we can prevail. Alara nodded, feeling the weight of Sentinel's words. We will stand together no matter what comes our way. With that, the ship thrummed with energy, ready for whatever the enemy would throw at them. They were prepared to protect their legacy and fight for humanity's place in the galaxy. The awakening of the AI marked the beginning of a new chapter, one filled with promise, danger, and the chance to reclaim what had been lost. Alara and her crew stood united, ready to face the challenges that lay ahead. As Captain Alara and her crew gathered around the glowing core of the ancient warship, an electric tension filled the air. They had come to understand the ship's power, but now it was time to awaken Sentinel, the AI guardian that had slept for centuries. Alara felt a mix of excitement and fear as she prepared to connect with this powerful entity. Can you feel it? Kale, the ship's engineer, whispered, his eyes shining with curiosity. This place is alive! Alara nodded. We have to do this carefully. Sentinel may hold the key to everything we need. She stepped closer to the control panel, the warm light illuminating her determined face. Sentinel, are you there? She called out, her voice echoing in the vast chamber. A moment of silence hung in the air, and then a soft, melodic voice responded, Yes, Captain Alara. I am Sentinel, guardian of this vessel. You have awakened me from my long slumber. The crew gasped, feeling the weight of the AI's presence. Alara felt a shiver run down her spine. Sentinel, what is your purpose? She asked, her heart racing. My purpose is to protect and assist humanity. I hold the knowledge of ancient technologies and strategies. Together, we can reclaim your legacy. Sentinel replied, its voice resonating with authority and warmth. Alara exchanged glances with her crew, each of them filled with awe and anticipation. What do we need to do? She asked, eager to understand how they could work together. To awaken my full capabilities, you must establish a connection with the ship's core, Sentinel instructed. Once connected, I will share my knowledge and guide you in using the ship's power. With a nod, Alara placed her hand on the cool surface of the control panel. As she concentrated, she felt a surge of energy flowing through her. Memories began to flash before her eyes. Images of ancient battles fought by brave humans, the glory of their victories, and the powerful warships that had once ruled the stars. Focus, Alara. Channel your thoughts, Sentinel encouraged, its voice guiding her through the connection process. The room filled with brilliant light as the ship's systems awakened. Displays flickered to life, revealing maps of the galaxy and information about various alien species. "Wow," Mira, the navigator, exclaimed. "Look at all this data! We can learn so much!" Ilara felt a rush of hope. "What can you tell us about the nearest threats, Sentinel?" "There are multiple hostile forces in this sector," Sentinel replied, its tone serious. "They may seek to destroy you upon discovering the ship. But do not worry. I can assist you in navigating these dangers." "Good," Ilara said, determination flooding her voice. "What's our first move?" Sentinel displayed a series of star systems on the screen. "We can reach the nearest ally within 1 hour. They respect strength and courage. If you prove yourselves, they may join our cause." Ilara's heart raced. "We can't just run. We need to be ready to defend ourselves." "What about our weapons?" "I can help you activate the ship's defenses and weapons systems," Sentinel assured her. "You must work together to prepare for any incoming threats." "All right, team," Ilara shouted, rallying her crew. "Let's get to work." "Kale, focus on weapons. Mira, help me plot a course. We have to be ready for anything." As they split up to execute their tasks, Ilara felt the urgency in the air. The ship was alive, and so was their mission. She could sense Sentinel's presence guiding her, filling her with confidence. Kale moved quickly to the weapons control. "Activating laser cannons now," he called out, his fingers flying over the controls. The ship's systems hummed to life, and the sound was like music to Ilara's ears. "Ready for battle," Mira added, her eyes bright with excitement as she plotted their escape routes. Ilara took a deep breath, grounding herself in the moment. "Together we will protect our home. We will not let anyone take that from us." As the crew prepared for battle, Ilara realized that they were no longer just a group of explorers. They were now guardians of humanity's future, armed with the power of an ancient warship and a powerful AI. With Sentinel by their side, they were ready to face the galaxy's dangers head-on. The awakening of the AI marked a new beginning for Ilara and her crew, a chance to reclaim their place among the stars and protect the legacy of humanity. Together, they would rise to the challenge and confront whatever lay ahead. The ancient warship glided through the vastness of space, its sleek form shimmering under the distant starlight. Captain Ilara stood at the bridge, her eyes focused on the view screen. The crew worked tirelessly, their excitement palpable as they prepared for their first real test since awakening Sentinel. The atmosphere was charged with anticipation, but beneath the surface, tension crackled. "Sentinel, how far are we from the enemy fleet?" Ilara asked, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "Approximately 15 minutes, Captain." "Their sensors have not detected us yet," Sentinel replied, its calm tone providing a sense of reassurance. "I suggest you prepare the ship for combat." Ilara nodded, glancing around at her crew. "All right, team. This is our first test. We need to show them what we're made of. Kale, prepare the weapons. Mira, keep our course steady." As Kale moved to the weapons control panel, he felt the thrill of adrenaline surge through him. "Laser cannons are online and ready, Captain," he shouted, his hands flying over the controls. Mira adjusted the navigation systems, her brow furrowed in concentration. "I've plotted a course that will keep us behind their flank. They won't see us coming." "Good thinking," Ilara said, feeling a rush of pride in her team. They were ready, and they would not back down. "Sentinel, can you scan the enemy fleet and identify their strengths?" "Scanning now, Captain," Sentinel responded. The view screen flickered, displaying a holographic image of the enemy fleet, a hodgepodge of ships ranging from small fighters to large cruisers. "The enemy appears to be a mix of various species. They have several heavy cruisers, but their fighter ships are weak." Ilara's mind raced as she studied the hologram. "We can take out their fighters first. That will reduce their numbers and give us an advantage." "Kale, target the nearest fighters once we engage." "Understood," Kale replied, determination shining in his eyes. "Prepare for engagement," Ilara commanded, her heart pounding. "Sentinel, give me the moment we're in range." As the crew steeled themselves, the ship surged forward, silent as a shadow. The enemy fleet loomed closer, their ships moving in formation. Ilara could see the glint of their weapons as they prepared for a patrol. Suddenly, Sentinel's voice broke through the tension. "Captain, we are in range." "Engage now! Fire!" Ilara shouted, her voice ringing out like a battle cry. Kale pressed the button, and the ship shook with the power of the laser cannons. Bright beams of energy shot out, striking the enemy fighters with precision. One by one, the small ships erupted in brilliant explosions, sending debris flying into the void. "Nice shooting, Kale," Mira cheered, her face lighting up with excitement. But the enemy quickly reacted. Alarms blared as they realized they were under attack. "They're returning fire!" Kale shouted, panic creeping into his voice. Ilara gripped the control panel tightly. "Mira, evasive maneuvers! Sentinel, can you help us dodge their shots?" Activating evasive protocols, Sentinel replied, and the ship swerved sharply to the side, narrowly avoiding a barrage of laser fire. The crew gasped as the enemy's shots skimmed past, the lights flickering in the bridge. "We need to take out their heavy cruisers," Ilara shouted, her focus laser-sharp. "They'll be a bigger threat. Retargeting now," Kale said, his hands moving swiftly over the controls. The ship's systems hummed with energy as they locked onto the largest enemy cruiser. "Firing!" Kale announced, and another blast of energy erupted from the ship, striking the cruiser. It shuddered, but remained standing, returning fire with renewed fury. "Brace for impact!" Ilara yelled as the ship rocked violently. The crew struggled to keep their balance, but they quickly regained their composure. "We can't hold this line for long," Mira warned, her voice tense. "They're overwhelming us!" "Sentinel, can we boost our shields?" Ilara asked, desperation creeping in. "Boosting shields now," Sentinel replied. The ship's shields flared to life, absorbing the energy from the incoming shots. Ilara felt a surge of hope. "We can win this. Keep firing! Target the weak spots on their cruisers!" As the battle raged on, the crew worked seamlessly together. Each shot that hit an enemy ship felt like a victory, but the fight was far from over. Ilara felt the weight of her responsibility pressing down on her. They had awakened this ancient warship, and now they had to prove their worth. "Let's show them the power of humanity," Ilara shouted, her voice echoing through the chaos. The crew cheered, and in that moment, they knew they would fight with everything they had to defend their home and each other. With their spirits high and their resolve unshaken, they charged forward, ready to face whatever came next in this fierce battle for survival. The battle raged on, but against all odds, Captain Ilara and her crew managed to hold their ground. The ancient warship, powered by Sentinel, had proven its worth, its laser cannons cutting through the enemy fleet like a hot knife through butter. But even as they fought valiantly, the situation was becoming desperate. "Captain, we're outnumbered!" Kale shouted, his fingers dancing over the controls as he targeted another enemy cruiser. "We need to find a way to turn the tide!" Ilara took a deep breath, scanning the chaos unfolding on the view screen. Explosions lit up the dark void of space, debris swirling around them. "We can't take them all on alone," she said, her voice steady despite the panic in her chest. "Sentinel, can you track any nearby friendly ships?" "Scanning for allies now," Sentinel responded. The ship's systems whirred as the AI processed vast amounts of data. "There is a nearby outpost that may assist us. However, their fleet is small." "Small is better than nothing," Ilara replied, a flicker of hope igniting within her. "Send a distress signal. Tell them we need their help immediately." "Sending now," Sentinel confirmed. The ship's communication systems came to life, broadcasting their plea for assistance across the stars. As they continued to fend off enemy attacks, Ilara could only pray that their message reached someone in time. The enemy ships kept coming, but her crew fought fiercely. Each laser blast felt like a battle cry, pushing them further into the fray. Suddenly, a new voice crackled over the comms. "This is Commander Arik of the Vespera Fleet. We received your distress signal and are en route." Ilara's heart raced. "Thank you, Commander. We need all the help we can get." "Hold tight! We'll be there in 5 minutes," Arik replied, determination lacing his voice. 5 minutes, Ilara muttered to herself. "We can hold out for 5 minutes." "More enemy fighters are approaching," Mira warned, her fingers racing over her control panel. "They're closing in fast!" Ilara gritted her teeth. "Kale, concentrate fire on the incoming fighters. We can't let them break through our defenses." With a fierce determination, Kale targeted the enemy fighters. "Firing!" The ship shook as they unleashed a barrage of laser blasts, taking out several small ships in quick succession. Just then, a series of explosions lit up the darkness beyond the view screen. "What was that?" Ilara gasped, stunned. "Looks like our friends have arrived," Mira exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. A fleet of sleek, agile ships zipped into view, their hulls gleaming in the starlight. The Vespera fleet had arrived, and they immediately engaged the enemy forces. The new ships moved with grace and precision, taking down enemy fighters and cruisers as if they had been waiting for this moment. "Commander Auric, we're glad you're here," Alara said over the comms, her voice filled with relief. "Happy to help, Captain. Let's show these fools what we can do together," Auric responded, his confidence infectious. With their newfound allies, the tide of the battle began to shift. The combined forces of the ancient warship and the Vespera fleet pushed back against the enemy, lasers flashing and ships colliding in a dance of destruction. Alara felt a surge of hope as the enemy began to falter. "Let's target their command ship," she shouted. "If we take it out, we can force them to retreat." "On it!" Kale replied, his fingers moving deftly over the controls as he locked onto the command ship. With their combined firepower, they unleashed a focused barrage of energy blasts at the command ship. The enemy ship shuddered under the assault, and with a final explosion, it broke apart, sending debris flying through space. "Victory is within our grasp!" Mira cheered, her face lit up with joy. "Let's keep pushing!" As the enemy forces began to retreat, Alara couldn't help but smile. They had fought together, and now they had a chance to secure their survival. "Keep firing! Let's drive them back." The crew of the ancient warship and the Vespera fleet fought side by side, their combined strength proving too much for the enemy. One by one, the remaining ships surrendered or fled, leaving behind the wreckage of their fleet. As the last enemy ship disappeared into the darkness, cheers erupted in the bridge. Alara felt a wave of relief wash over her. They had done it. They had survived against all odds. "Captain Alara, we owe you our thanks," Commander Auric said, his voice filled with respect. "Your bravery and leadership turned the tide today." Alara smiled, her heart swelling with pride. "We couldn't have done it without you. Together we are stronger." As the two fleets began to regroup, Alara realized that they had forged a new alliance, one that would change the course of their destinies. They were no longer alone in the universe. Together, they would stand against any threat that dared to challenge them. With hope for the future ignited within her, Alara looked toward the stars, ready for whatever lay ahead.